Hey everybody.
Hello.
So we have a new adventure for you today. We're back in our stomping grounds in Hocking Hills. But we're going to show you something today that most people don't get to experience or get to see. We're going to a state nature preserve. It's called the Saltpeter Cave Preserve. This is by permit only. So you have to file for a permit through the Ohio website. There's no animals permitted, no dogs permitted. It's like, so.
No Joey today.
Yes, no Joe today. It's like, but that's okay. It's like, because we really want to see this area. We've been wanting to see this for a while. It's like, now this preserve is actually closed, I think, from, I want to say it's like October through April. And the reason for that is, it's like they're trying to preserve the area for the bats in the natural caves back there. So, but anyway, stay with us and we'll show you what we find. So this nature preserve is a pretty well kept secret in Hocking Hills. You will not find any signs for it on the major road. When you apply for a permit, they send you the GPS coordinates for it. They didn't even give you the street address for it. So we pretty much figured out where it was pretty easy. But this is the only sign that we've seen for it anywhere. Trail to the Saltpeter Cave. So that's it. Not even a sign that says nature preserve or anything. So kind of crazy, but they're really trying to make sure that people don't run this place down or come back in here and hike in here without a permit. I totally understand it. So the trail through the nature preserve is pretty much right through the middle of the woods. I mean, it's a pretty worn path, and the trees are all flared. So there ain't no chance of losing your way. There's a little kiosk, like right when you come in the trail, that has some pamphlets in it and such. But this trail is pretty much goes straight up a hill. So once we get further on up the way, we'll show you what we see. So this is a looping trail. When you get up to the top of this hill, you have your choice of going left or to the right. But we saw over in this section all this cliff line over here, so we're gonna head to the left and go see what we see. So come with us. So right up here, when we came inside these boulders, it's like there's like, looks like almost like a path that goes down. There's like a great big boulder field that goes down almost all the way down to the creek. Now this section right through there, that is super steep, and we're not even really sure if that's where the path takes us. So if it is, we might actually turn around and come back the other way. But it kind of looks like to me that the path goes up through here. So we're going to try that, because that looks like a good way to slip and fall, especially with a bunch of dead leaves and stuff right there. Wouldn't be the first time we ever slid through something like that, but not today. Okay, this is pretty sweet. The pathway goes like right between these huge boulders, kind of like a fat man squeeze, kind of like at Cantwell Cliffs, but pretty awesome. So here we go. And the fat man is getting squoze. So we came out, and sure enough, on the other side of the fat man squeeze was a flare on the tree. So we knew we were coming the right way. But here's Jeannie coming through the squeeze. Okay, so literally right around the corner from the fat man squeeze, I'm glad we went this way first, because this is the Great Saltpeter, or not the Great, but just the Saltpeter Cave. It's quite large. And not only is this a cave, but it's also an arch, because you can see it has two openings. And as I step back here, you can kind of see where it looks like it has two eyes. But this cave is like really deep. It's probably 30 feet deep or more. But this is actually considered a cave and an arch. So cool. Absolutely awesome. So we pretty much decided, since we're here and since the cave continues to go
Clear back
past the area where we entered. I mean, the room goes back about 30 feet, and then there's another little opening back in the back. So we brought our headlamps, and we're just going to go
see what it is.
Yeah, we're at least go back. No, we're not going to crawl through any areas. It's like, but we're at least going to go back into it a little bit and see what we can see back in there. So
maybe we're not going to.
So, well, we'll see when we get in there, but we'll show you what we find. So, in the back of the cave, there's a passageway, and I'd say it's probably about 4 feet tall. So you kind of got to like duck walk in order to get through it. But I don't know if there's another big room.
There isn't. This is it right here.
Oh, does it end right there?
Yeah.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah,
but well, I thought it was too. There's no way to the left or the right.
No, it's all rock. It's just rocks all over. Right?
Okay. So for those of you that are visiting the Saltpeter Cave, you're not missing anything if you don't have your headlamps because it doesn't go very far back. But
it's cool.
But it's still pretty cool. Okay. So it was kind of fun, kind of going back inside that other little passage on the cave. But since it didn't really go anywhere, I guess it really didn't need to do that. But hey, you know, when in Rome, I mean, especially since this is by permit only, may as well explore it a little bit while you're out here. But this is so cool. Even if this is all we see today, this has already been a pretty cool adventure. So when you come out of the Saltpeter Cave, there is a small trail that goes along, and there's a little small waterfall back here, so we're going to go back and check it out. But just be forewarned, there's a skinny trail with sheer drop-offs, so be very, very careful if you choose to go beyond this point. So around the edge of this trail, the real skinny trail, there's this tiny little waterfall that comes down right here. It doesn't have a whole lot of flow on it, but we haven't had a lot of rain, so wouldn't expect it. But right to the next of it here, there is a massive cave. I mean, it is absolutely huge. And we don't know quite how to get in there. We don't see a trail. We don't see any flares. So we're gonna try to figure it out. And if we can get in there, we'll show you. But so far, we haven't seen a path, but we're working on it. So we found a pathway down and found the bottom half of this little waterfall. Don't know if it has a name, but it has a nice little trickle on it, but it's pretty cool. Definitely worth seeing.
Yeah, this way around.
So we kind of figured out, like when you come down this pathway, that there's a path around these boulders, and you can come right around to the bottom of this rock shelter. And where Jeannie's standing right there, there's a little trail that goes down to the bottom of the waterfall. So that's where I'm heading now. So just to show you the little squeeze that we came through, you got to come in between these two boulders and kind of climb over the top of the boulders, and it gets you down inside this rock shelter where the lower trail is. And here we are from the very bottom of the waterfall. You can see it's got pretty good spray coming off of it, but overall flow is not too much more than a trickle. But again, it's still pretty neat to see. Definitely worth it. So here's another example of a tree with its root structure going down the rock face. Now the tree itself is very tall, but the roots are basically going down the side of the rock. And I guess the only water that it gets is when there's a good rain. So amazing how life continues to find a way. It's like this tree is huge, gets an occasional drink, and it's still really tall. Very cool. So there's a second arch that's supposed to be close to the Saltpeter Arch that is called Surprise Arch. And when we're coming out of the squeeze leaving the cave, we saw this opening between the rocks here. Now the opening is up and it looks straight down, so it was kind of a surprise to see this. So I don't know if this is it or not, but we're going to go down to the base and see if we can determine whether or not this is a true arch or if this is a false arch. So unfortunately, this is not surprise arch. As you can see, there's like a boulder that's kind of like wedged in between these two big limestone rocks that kind of creates the opening. So that would be a false arch. And just seeing the top rock there, it's like we decided not to go down to the base because that is really sketchy to get right to that point. It's very, very steep. As you can see, I'm kind of standing on a big mossy rock, and we're probably 60, 70 feet up above the creek down there. So, yep, it's not a favorable drop, so we're gonna keep looking. Hopefully we'll find this other one before we end our adventure today. So we found the water source that feeds the waterfall. So the trail kind of works its way over the top. There's a nice little bridge that goes over the top of the path of this water. Yep, and this is the water going down to the waterfall that we were just underneath. So we followed the trail along and followed the flares, and the flares took us downstairs and took us into a second rock shelter. This one is this is larger than the inside of the Saltpeter Cave and any of the other rock shelters that we've seen so far today. This thing is absolutely massive, and right over here is the very same waterfall. So I don't know if you can tell, but we took that sketchy little path right there to get to the other side of the waterfall. That's the area that we just came from. And this is the top side of the falls that we were underneath just a few minutes ago. But yeah, the flared path will actually take you to this side of the falls. So if you want to see it, you don't want to take a sketchy trail, just stay on the flared path and it'll take you right to it. So we noticed, like in this rock where the waterfall is, there's a little small pillar right here. Now that's not big enough to be an arch yet, but maybe over time with more erosion that could erode out and actually become a full-size arch. But still, pretty neat little window right now. Just to give you an idea just of how big this rock shelter is that we're underneath right now. Right there to the left is where the waterfall is, and all the way over there. Maybe not as big as Council Chambers in Red River Gorge, but definitely one of the bigger ones I've seen in Hocking Hills for sure. So we saw this from the inside of the rock shelter. This is just a false arch. This is just two rocks slumped up against each other, but makes a little archway right there. Pretty neat, but it's not a true arch, just a false arch. So on the opposite side of the stairwell, you come to the bottom of the steps, go to the right, there's yet another humongous rock shelter. And huge rocks everywhere. It looks like there might even be a cave opening right here. So I don't know how far it goes, but we're gonna walk over and check it out.
Well,
So we came back in this room in this rock shelter, and this rock shelter might actually even be deeper than the Saltpeter Cave. You can kind of see the opening that we're in. I mean, right now we are standing up completely, and we're not touching the roof at all. So the ceiling on this thing is probably a little over 6 feet. I mean, but it kind of looks like a skinny opening from the video that I'm showing right now, but that's like the area that we just walked through and could walk through it with great ease. We thought it might be like an opening of a cave, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It just has a room that closes out, but still, it's such a neat thing to see on this hike. So I can't even tell you how cool this area is there. I mean, we've been all over Hocking Hills, and this area was definitely worth getting a permit for. I mean, I just thought we were gonna see a couple arches today, but I had no idea all the other cool stuff that's down here. And you really don't ever hardly ever see any pictures of this area because, again, it is by permit. So not a lot of people make it down here. But if you get a permit, you're gonna love it. So just past the rock shelter that we came out of, we came around a corner and there's another rock shelter and another waterfall coming down. Again, it's only got a small trickle on it, but we did see a path with flares on it going down. So you might try to go down and see if we can get to the base of this one as well. So we have found Surprise Arch. I kind of remembered from a picture that I saw kind of what it looked like in the area that it was in. It's like I just remember that the dirt was kind of tannish and that there were a lot of pretty large rocks around the opening. But there is an arch opening here that kind of goes like in between the two rock shelters. So this is Surprise Arch. Okay, so Jeannie's on the other side of the rock shelter and she is in the process of crawling through Surprise Arch.
I see you.
I sure do.
This is as far as it can go.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. So we walked right past this before and we didn't even notice it. It's like, but that right there is the other opening for Surprise Arch that Jeannie just crawled through. Now, if you were in this rock shelter, there's no way you would even notice it. But it connects the two rock shelters and it's plenty big enough to be an arch. So, but this is called Surprise Arch. Very cool. So much like the Silver Mine Arch Trail, there's a pretty large stairwell to get you up out of the lower level. So if you don't like stairs, this hike might not be for you. At least you could make it to the Saltpeter Cave, but coming down to these other two big overhang caves or rock shelters and Surprise Arch, you got to come down the stairs. So that's definitely not going to be for you if you can't do steps. But just wanted to show you that, because it looks like there's probably about 80 of them or so. So there's that. So this has been a really great hike back in this nature preserve. I mean, aside from the very last rock shelter that we were in, we hadn't seen any other people all day on this trail at all. So if you're looking for some solitude, I'd highly recommend putting in a permit for the Saltpeter Cave Nature Preserve.
So I have made my way down to this, where this waterfall comes out over top. It is so cool. You can see how far it is down there. I'm not going any further to the edge, but it's so cool. Look how neat that is. Hi.
Hey everyone. So we just got done with our hike at the Saltpeter Cave State Nature Preserve, and gotta say,
Oh, it was amazing.
pretty awesome.
It was really awesome.
Short hike. We only hiked about 2 miles, but to have 2 waterfalls, 2 arches, and at least 3 major recess caves. I mean,
Very cool.
I mean, in such a short amount of time is in a short area to hike in, I'd say it's pretty awesome. You can't really ask for too much more on a hike.
Definitely worth a permit. Definitely.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to put in for a permit again, maybe
In the fall.
you know, or early spring
Yeah.
when the waterfalls are flowing a little bit more. It'd be nice to come back and try to capture some pictures of them when they're really flowing. But it's a fantastic
was
hike.
really neat.
I mean, we can't recommend it enough. And the beautiful thing of it is, like I said earlier, if you're looking for some solitude, There's hardly anybody out here. Nobody knows about it. It's private. You're not going to be swarm with people like most of the trails in Hocking Hills.
Yeah.
So it's totally worth it. But that's going to do it for this adventure. And as always, get out and hike. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for watching.